The Frontline starts now.
And we welcome you to another episode of the Frontline podcast here as we truck along through the dog days of February, but we're almost there. It's almost over. It's almost playoff hockey time. Kortney Kenny, pleased to be joined by Harrison from the Garrison, Harrison Clements, and Kassie Millen.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
What's up, Kassie?
Not much.
Guess what?
What?
Kassie got a fighting penalty this weekend, Harrison.
They just keep getting... You threw down, had a little bit of a scrap.
Not really.
Go down to Barry, toss hands.
And if anything, it should have been... Like, when she described the situation to me, I'm like, it's a roughing penalty.
Oh,
It's a roughing penalty. It's not fighting.
Oh, it's women's hockey, so they kind of like upped it, or because it's like the
I don't
roughing
really know.
to. Because I know that like physical plays get a bit more skewed to one way or another.
Yeah, we're not really allowed to
No.
really even like, I don't know, slightly touch someone. The refs get angry at us for doing that.
So
Boo.
why don't you explain to Harrison how you explained it to me what happened in our in your game this weekend down in Barrie?
We were playing against the Waterloo Ravens, one of the
There's
teams.
two Waterloo Ravens, by the way,
Yeah.
in the same league.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Anyways, one of them is like, one team is so sweet, the other is horrid.
Okay.
Like absolutely awful. And we were playing them. And there was this girl, she's shorter than me. So she's like,
This is a great story.
she's shorter than me. And she kept like cherry picking me and like slashing me and everything. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Like, you're winning. Why are you coming after me? I've done nothing to you. And so I just ignore it. And
She
then
woke up and chose violence that day.
Apparently.
she kept going like, look at the scoreboard. And I'm like, okay, cool. Am I supposed to cry about it? I literally said that to her. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm just here to play hockey. Honestly, like, you're winning. You lost all your other games except for when you played us today. So you know what? Don't be so like
Yeah. Get off your high horse.
exactly. And then
How many hands is that?
At least 5. If she was that small. But continue. Sorry.
she got up right up in my face, and I knew I wasn't supposed to do this, but I was really angry and upset. So I kind of just went like this, and I pushed her, and she fell right down to the ground. And then she got up and tried going after me, and I just kind of skated away to the penalty box because I knew I was going to get called for it. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then she kept chirping me in the penalty box, and I'm like, dude, we're in the penalty box. Like, I made you fall. Are you really going to try again?
Yeah. Come on.
Like, you're smaller than me.
And that was a fighting penalty?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's
served
a
5
roughing.
minutes.
It's roughing.
That's roughing at worst.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I know. It was awful. I had to serve 5 minutes, and I'm like, are you serious? This is just, like, supposed to be 2-minute penalty.
Have you ever heard of the Lonely Island?
No.
No, you should. It's really good. It's Andy Samberg's like joke band. But they have a song called Threw It on the Ground.
Yep.
So it'd be like, I threw her on the ground. I threw the rest of the team too.
Welcome to the real world.
Yeah.
Oh, and they were just so bad. Like, we shook hands with them because we have to after the game.
Oh, yeah.
And they literally were like, get better, the whole team.
Oh, my gosh.
And we're like, are you joking? Like, seriously? So we went up to their coaches because we have to shake hands with their coaches too. And all of us literally went, teach your team some respect, and just went off the ice. Like,
So is this a nice Waterloo team or the mean one?
this is the mean one. We
Okay.
played the nice one right after.
Could go either way with Waterloo.
Yeah, I was just like, this could be the nice one, but okay, that's dumb.
Exactly.
That's
Like,
dumb. Was
Way
this
to,
the
like-
last game of the tournament too?
No, this was the second last. And they
Okay.
didn't even make it to like the...
You didn't get suspended at least, you know,
No.
kind of thing.
I thought I was, but I didn't. So I was really happy about it.
Yeah, a sussy would be like way too much. That's like, fighting's already too much.
Yeah.
I know. It was...
But that's the thing nowadays with how people are handing out suspensions. You never know.
Are we getting
Jacob Tarian.
Yeah, we can't get into that. Yeah, can we?
No.
Okay.
Well, it's just going to be... Spoiler alert, I'm just going to tell you how it is. It's the exact same thing as the Morgan Riley thing. It didn't deserve 5
It
games.
did not deserve 5.
But anyways, we'll get into that later, of course. But the important question, though, I already asked her this because we had time to kill today, right? So I already asked her this question because we were talking about this last week. How many pairs of shoes did you buy, Kassie?
I bought 1 pair.
That's a good amount to get. Just one pair.
Yeah.
It was online and with a gift card.
It was. I
so-
thought you that was the whole point of going down to Barrie early was to go to the shoe store, not
No, I
buying it
went
online.
shopping instead.
That is shop. What?
like for clothes. And
Oh, okay.
But I bought the shoes online while I was in Barrie and just got them delivered for free shipping instead of having to go all the way to Vaughan.
That's fair. That makes a lot of sense.
Have you ever gone to like that big shoe store that's like down by like where Golf Town and Best Buy and all that? It's like, you know where the Saddledome Arena is?
Yeah.
It's like there's like a little, it's like called Park Place or something, the little shopping mall they got. There's like Cabela's and, you know, Toys R Us and all that stuff. But there's a huge shoe store there. I've been there for somebody who doesn't buy shoes. I've been there.
I don't think I've ever been there.
No, well, I feel like you would like love it. Just from talking about the shoes like last week.
Probably. I probably would love it.
Yeah. I love Golf Town. And that's where that's the only time I bought shoes in Barrie was at Golf Town because I needed golf shoes.
That's fair.
And who wants to get white golf shoes? But guess what? That's the only color that they had in my size, and I needed the shoes. And yep, now I have white golf shoes for golfing in the spring up here, which is miserable. But
yeah, your shoes do not stay white golfing up here at all.
No.
I wore like gray shoes the one time that I went golfing with Matt this summer, and they were soaked and like just a dark color.
But you guys didn't the day you guys go wasn't that great of a day, was it?
Like it was a nice day. It was just the day before it had rained and it was just soaking.
Yeah,
it's like there's no actual real cart path. It's just all dirt and then just soaking grass.
You went to what, Highview or Clear Springs?
I think we went to Clear Springs.
Oh, so you're like way out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no like real cart path out there.
Yeah, we were driving out to the woods and I would have been worried if Matt's son wasn't there. Because it was just like, hey, we haven't hung out one-on-one. What's going on? But no, it was a good time. It was just really wet.
Yeah.
So.
That's how we all find out that Matt's a serial killer. Watch out. Don't go into his basement. Oh my God, Harrison.
I'm not trying to pick up the coaster, and then I dropped it. I threw it on the ground.
Yeah, there it is.
In the bag. Okay.
I'm okay with it. So other than that, though, how was the whole, other than losing and getting into a not fight, how was the whole experience in Barrie?
I mean, it was fun. I got hit with pucks a lot. Well, I blocked shots, actually, I should say.
Beauty.
But it was fun. I mean, shopping and just being with the team in tournaments is really fun, especially since I'm aging out this year and I have to go senior next year. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to experience the same things, and I definitely won't be able to play with the same people I have before.
Yeah.
So just kind of enjoying the last moment. I know we still have playoffs, but, it's not as fun because it's more serious. And
yeah. Well, that's good, though. Those road trips are great. Anyways, we do have, speaking of road trips, we have a guy who's very familiar with road trips as our guest this week, and we'll actually throw to a quick commercial break right now. However, on the other side, it is Voodoos head coach Peter Goulet, who we'll be talking to on the podcast this week.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
And pleased to be joined for the first time this season in studio, Mr. Peter Goulet, the head coach of your Powassan Voodoos. And Peter, welcome back to the show. It's been a while.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me again, and thanks for having all our guys in throughout the season so far, and glad I could join you.
No, it's always exciting whenever we get especially some Voodoos players and Voodoos staff. And I'm just going to hit the ground running because we were just talking about it before we started recording, but brought it up with Josh, the guy you traded from Kingston. We heard his side of the story. Can you give us your side of the story?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, it started off as I was still with Nepean, and I scouted Josh, and I seen him playing at the Bell Sensplex, the Richcraft Center in the east end of Ottawa, and I wanted to sign him. I was at the time still with Nepean Raiders, and I wanted to sign him, and over the next little bit, I ended up getting a job and going to the East Coast League with the Brampton Beast, and while maybe a month into that, I accepted a general manager's job in Kingston with the Voyageurs, and I'm like, it is what it is. Josh and I become very good friends over the whole thing, and we went up to a tournament up in Cochrane. Josh had a very good tournament. He had a great year with us the first year. He was great, great at getting pucks through. He was good at everything. He was a good teammate. It's never easy to trade anybody, especially good people, good person, and he was all of that. And that team was pretty mad at me, and Josh at the moment was mad at me. Had to make a choice between a young kid from the Kingston Frontnacks, and I talked to the coach about it, and made the decision to trade Josh. And probably if I had to do it all over again, it's always easy to look back in life, and if we could go back and redo so many things, we'd all be in so many different situations. And at the end of the day, I made the move, and Josh will tell you today it's the best thing that ever happened to him. I don't know if he said that, but
he did. Yes, he
did say that.
Yeah,
he said it. He understood it. Came back to Kingston to go to school. Asked about coming on to help us, and we've become great friends. And we're great hockey colleagues. We bump heads on stuff, and we talk about stuff, and that's what you want. You want someone there you can talk with, and someone that's just not going to be a puppet and answer you. And Josh isn't a. When I ask him something, he doesn't tell me what I want to hear. He tells me what he thinks, and vice versa if he asks me. So, it's been a great relationship for 8 years. And, that really the first summer when I did recruit him, when I got the job with Kingston, I left him 25 messages. Did he leave that out?
No, he
25 messages
out,
in the summertime. And I wanted to sign him in Kingston. And I guess I was calling at the time he was playing down at a prep school, Kent, I believe. Oh, God, if I get that wrong, Kent people. I believe it was Kent. And anyways, he never called me back. I kept calling religiously. And eventually he checked his U.S. phone and called me back, and the rest is history. I signed him, and here we are today. Signed him, traded him, coached together now, for a long time, been together a long time on a round game of hockey. And it is what it is. He's a great, great coach, and he's got a great future in front of him, and I'd do anything to help him if I could.
No, he did leave the 25 phone calls out of the story, though.
I bet you it might have been 35 messages, because I really wanted to sign him. I really liked him. I liked his game. He was big. Seemed like a great, young, mature kid when I talked to him, and he came in and did a great job for us. And it's looking back, it's one of those things. It's never easy. You can't look back in life. You got to move forward.
I got to get to the nitty gritty of the timeline, because he says that he goes up to Cochrane with you guys, and you come home. When you went up to Cochrane, did you have an idea that he might, you might be looking to move him, or was it when you got back kind of thing?
Basically, it was going into the last day, the Sunday. We were playing in the finals. I think Josh had 2 or 3 goals.
He said he scored a hat trick.
Yeah, he was MVP of the best defense, MVP of the tournament, or best defenseman. He had a great weekend, and I got a call from the Frontneck saying they had a real good young player that they wanted us to take, and it just unfortunately ended up being Josh. And it's I think it's worked out. We may not be sitting in the situation we're in today. Josh may not be if it didn't all happen this way. And things happen for a reason, and it worked out. It worked out for definitely. I would say it worked out for Josh.
I would say, and that was, to be fair, he did say it was the best thing, one of the best things to happen to him. So credit where credit's due. But kind of moving on, but staying on the Cochrane topic, just because I happened to be hanging out with Ryan Leonard this weekend. What can you tell me about the man known as Lenny? Up in Cochrane, bringing you guys up there to play. That's a long road trip for a team in Kingston. First off, but also, what can you tell me about Lenny? He tells me you guys like to fish a lot, so I'm assuming that you've gone out fishing a couple of times.
Oh yeah, we go. We didn't get out last year, unfortunately, but we go on week-long fishing trips. Pack the car, put the 4-wheelers, or if it's ice fishing, we're putting snowmobiles on the trailer and that, and we're gone. We're no service, no nothing. We're in the middle of nowhere, and we've become great friends, and he's a great coach. He has a great program going there in Renfrew, and he's we do a lot of things together. We talk almost every day on the phone. So, he's done a great job in Renfrew, going there, moving there, and putting a winning product on the ice.
I tell you, when I sat down to interview him for this little video that we were putting together with Chris, the last person I thought would call him was Peter Goulet. Mostly because I didn't know the history, so that's funny. He just sat down in the chair and he said, "Oh, look who's calling me." So let's focus on your team here a little bit, because I brought this up with Josh and Lemke last week. You guys are kind of in the quote unquote dog days of the season. You're already got an X next to your name. How do you keep the guys motivated moving on with the season's not over, right? There's still games to be played. Regardless of what happens, how do you kind of keep the guys motivated as you play out the last little leg of the season here?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a race for second place. We want to finish as high up in the league as possible, and it's every game's important. You got to be playing well going into playoffs. You can't just take these next 10, 11 games off because you have a spot. We're battling with Hearst, and our guys got to wake up and be ready to go every single game, whether it's Hearst on Friday or Hearst on Saturday, Timmins Friday, or Iroquois Falls. Iroquois Falls is trying to stay ahead of Kirkland Lake, and I think there's a 6-point difference there, 8 or 6 point difference, and it's every team's going to be ready to play us, and it's important that we are playing the right way all the time. Doesn't matter who we play, doesn't matter what the score of the game is. We have to play the same way. We have to play our game and what we do best.
With you don't want to ever concede anything, but obviously Timmins has started to pull away a little bit, and it's looking like Hearst again in the first round. Obviously, it's not set in stone. I know last year that kind of helped benefit some of the preparation. I know you don't want to give away all your secrets here, but when it's looking like a team that you knocked out of the first round last year is probably going to be your first round opponent again, how much preparation goes into that?
Yeah, it's once we know, we'll start preparing. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves. It's not Timmins hasn't got first, and we don't have second or third, and Hearst doesn't have second or third, and you win 4 in a row and Timmins slips 4 in a row, either one of us can end up there. And I don't look ahead. The most important thing for me is that first shift on Friday night. I'm not looking ahead to the Hearst game, and everyone else for second place. If we got to win for that game to mean anything, we got to win on Friday night.
Yeah.
If we don't win on Friday night, then it's defeating the purpose. So it's one game at a time, one shift at a time, and break it down in as small areas as we can, and take care of that small area game, and then move to the next one and the next one, and just keep going, get going on the right track heading into the playoffs.
I gotta ask. We brought this up with Josh too on the coaching side of things. You got 4 great goaltenders on your team, but it's very rare that you see a 4 goaltender system. What's that kind of like, trying to manage that, where everybody wants playing time, of course, all the goalies could start on any given night? What's that kind of been like for you?
Yeah, it's not easy. It is what it is, and my job is to win hockey games, and I made a decision that I thought was best for our hockey team at the time. It sucks for the 4 goalies, especially for, honestly, Tyson and Miles. 2 great kids, 2 capable goaltenders. I did have an opportunity to trade both of them. Could have traded one. I don't know if I could have traded both, but I definitely could have traded one. And they decided they wanted to stay. They didn't want to go anywhere else. And I guess that's a compliment to our program and the staff and the players in that room we have in there. Most kids would, just want to go play. And you got 2 kids that are, last one's off the bus cleaning it. Mm-hmm. And, they're going to play 1 or 2 games down the stretch here. And, talked to Miles today about that. And, great kid. He understands. And, I do feel for him, though. I've been up since 2:30. I did have a little bit of a nap from 11:30 this morning till 12:30. But I'm just, bugs me. These kids all have a dream like I did. And, it's at the end of the day, I've got to win hockey games. And, when my dad was coaching, I was trying to, for back then, it didn't have AAA, it was AA. He cut me from the hockey team. He was a head coach and he didn't keep me. And I was taught hard lessons, and I wasn't handed anything. I wasn't given anything. There was nothing, I had to earn every minute. And, our household was, my mom was really pissed off at my dad. I'll never forget it. And I wasn't happy either, but At the end of the day, he says, son, you're not good enough to play on this hockey team. He AP'd me. I practiced. I think I played one game all year. But, it's, that's my mentality. It's, you got to go with what's best. You got to go with what's in your heart. It doesn't make it any easier. But, this is a sport. This is competitive. This isn't minor hockey. And, if people don't respect my decisions, then it is what it is. And, Miles or Tyson could have been traded and they didn't want to. And, they knew the situation they were going into because I told them all I was getting the fourth goalie. I didn't blindside them. I didn't do the trade and say, hey, I traded for someone. I called them all up, met with them, said, guys, I'm bringing another goalie in. And they all chose to stay. So kudos to them. It's great for our team to have that. You never know with injuries, and we'll just take it one day at a time.
That kind of, I brought this up again. A lot of these questions are questions I asked Josh last week, but I can go right to you with this too. So at this level, you see a lot of turnover, but last year, to this year, there wasn't a lot of turnover. A lot of, there's a lot of returning players that came back. What does that mean to you with the team that, a lot of players returned, and then those two guys, like you said, they could have gone elsewhere and they didn't want to go?
Yeah, I just think you can say it. Caden Long didn't come back. He chose to go down and play Junior B with his brother. Jack Kelly is back in our league in Timmins. He chose to go down to closer to home, So not everybody came back, but at the end of the day, that's their choice. I can't worry about who's coming back or who's here next year. I might not be here now. I could be, I could die in the summertime.
Oh my God, don't say that, Peter.
I got to worry about this year. I can't worry about what's happening in the next, like next September. Who knows where we are, who knows what's going to happen. And, my job is I got to look at my 7, 8, 20-year-olds now with signing Will Revay. And I got to do what's best for them. They don't get another crack at this.
Yeah.
Our young guys get another crack. They get a chance to be the guy. They get a chance to be the captains one day. They get a chance to do this. But for Alex Little, Lemke, Carson Ricci, all these guys, Will Revay decide to come back and play. I owe it to those guys. I owe it to them. And, if you lose a game and you got your young guys on the ice, I feel like it's on me. If you lose a game and what I think are my best players on the ice, then I've done my job and we didn't get the job done. But it's not easy. It's the sleepless nights for me started 2 weeks ago, and it's going to go right through until the playoffs are over. And hopefully that's a long run for us.
I was just going to say, hopefully it ends with some rings on the finger at the end of it.
Well, Josh and I are working hard at it. Josh is the best video coach, great coach. I mean, he can go coach his own team, but he's unbelievable at video. He's unbelievable at breaking teams down, and we work very well together. It's as well as I've ever worked with anybody, and I'm blessed to have him working with me and standing beside me, as is our team. And it's a battle every day, but Josh and I get up and we're up for the challenge every day.
A lot of people, myself included, view playoff hockey as the best hockey. Do you still have that view too yourself, or is it with the sleepless nights it kind of takes away some of the shine?
No, it's the best time of year. It's my dad used to always say you separate the men from the boys in the second half after Christmas. It's no question. It's everything we've done all year is just posturing and positioning and seeing where you're going to finish. At the end of the day, in March 16th, when we play our last game and we wake up the next day, it doesn't matter what you did. It doesn't matter how you played. It doesn't matter if you finish in fourth or first. All that matters is who's going to win, who's going to be last man standing. Yeah. And you're starting all over. And, it's not it's a tough grind. I've been lucky enough, in my 20-year career to win 3 championships. If it was easy, I would do it a lot more. It's not easy. There's people that play, people that coach for 40, 50 years and never win one. And I'm blessed to have been on 3 good hockey teams that won, and probably a couple other that probably should have won, but we didn't win. And that's the nature of the game. How many times does a President Trophy winner of the NHL win the Stanley Cup?
Exactly.
Not very often.
How many times does our favorite team win the cup?
Never.
It's pretty hard sometimes.
We'll leave the name out.
Yeah, I'm sure people can guess.
Yes.
I wanted to go back to December. You left the team for a little bit thanks to a bit of a trip out east with you and Josh Hardiman. What was that like going to work for Team Canada East?
Yeah, it's surreal. It's such a great experience, great coaches. Obviously, every kid dreams of, playing, coaching, being a part of a, Team Canada at any sport, any level, whether it's the Olympics or the World Juniors, whatever it is, if you put that flag on, it's a pretty proud moment. It's a proud moment for us, having two of us there and coming home with silver medal, and having a big part of that hockey team. Two great coaches, and Derek Smith and Billy McGuigan, and it was just it was special. It was man, you can't. It's hard to explain unless you're there and you're in the moment. And to lose that last game is the worst feeling in the world. And but that's hockey. That's it. Once again, doesn't matter what you did. It's what you did your last game. So it didn't come together for us. But the team was unbelievable. Billy, as a head coach, did an unbelievable job. All the staff, Derek, Josh, myself supported him. He supported us. Hockey Canada was supportive. Great experience, and anybody has that opportunity, they should take it and do it, and don't pass on that if that opportunity presents itself and you have an opportunity to play or coach for your country. You should do it.
I know, you guys ultimately come up short, but then after that, you got your 3-week Christmas holidays between you get to come back here. Obviously, going home and spending time with family is always great, but how restless were you over that break to get back going with the hockey team? Yeah,
it was terrible. It really was. It's God bless my wife, Shannon, and Kassie. It's it's tough. I'm on the phone because I know I have to make trades. I know I can't I can't sit there and do nothing for 2 weeks. And obviously I'm not home very much, and they want your time, and which is completely understandable. And it's a fine line between doing what's best and we'll continue to work on top of, stay on top of the players you're looking at. And no, I could have done deals earlier in November, December when Alex was out and Mike McLean left, and I was really hurting, but I didn't panic. I didn't take a player just to take a player, and maybe it cost us some wins, and maybe it cost us some points, especially with Alex Little out of the lineup. Arguably, one of the best defensemen in this league, and you lose him, it hurts you. But I stayed patient, and it's we ended up getting Jackson Smith, ended up getting Mike McLean back, got signed Will Reve here late. Things worked out. They work out for a reason, and I like our position right now. I think our team's played great hockey since January 1st, since we got back here. Whenever our first game was, the 5th, I think it was, and I think we played great hockey. And it's you add Jackson Smith, you add Mike McLean and Alex Little on January 5th for your first game back. That's
a pretty good deadline.
Pretty freaking good. Yeah. It's like, Alex is like getting a trade. He's played 8 games before that, I think. And you add those two guys, and, it's just got to come together. And it's coming together slowly. We've played really good hockey since January 1st. Haven't always got the results, but our team has played very well.
I wanted to ask, you never want to see a guy get sent down like Mike McLean at the end with Gatineau and stuff, but how great was that he got to come back to Powassan? Because he's quite a get.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want the best for all your players. You want the best for, when they get called up, you're happy for them. It's great. And you really, deep down, of course, you want him back. But Mike McLean doesn't have, he doesn't have any options left for NCAA. He can't go to States and go to school. Obviously, he can go play CIS. And, you want the best for him. It's, personally, it's great for our hockey team. It's great for the town and the fans of Powassan and our players that Mike McLean is back. But I do feel for him. Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy. It wasn't easy on him to do it. It's up and back down, up and back down. And that's not easy on anybody. That's, it's no different than a young guy in the lineup, out of the lineup. It's not easy, but it's part of the process. It's part of the process for, Big Mike, and he's handled it like a pro, and he's been good for us.
I wanted to, we know a lot about Alex Little, getting to watch him a lot, but coming in, I wanted to get your sense when you go out and get a guy like Jackson Smith, who unfortunately is injured right now. Hopefully he's coming back soon, but what did you like about Jackson Smith before you made that deal to bring him in?
Well, 50 games experience in the Alberta League. Anyone who plays 50 games, whether it's in our league or the OJ or Alberta, Saskatchewan, it speaks volume for itself. I wasn't sure Mike McLean was coming back at the time. And, I knew Alex Little was hopefully back when we got back, and I figured we needed one more D-man. Rotundle's had a great year. He's young. Jaden Sturge broke his wrist in July. He set him back a little bit. He didn't start playing until the end of September, and he's just starting to play well now. And, you know, it just, Jackson Smith is a tremendous young man, tremendous hockey player. He's got great vision, a ton of experience. Played in the NA, you know, went from Alberta to the NA, played, I think, 9 or 10 games there. And, you know, anybody with that experience is invaluable. It doesn't matter what team. If he was going to a team in the OJ or a team in the CC or wherever, you can't pass up on guys like that, especially defensemen. If they come available, you got to grab them.
With a guy like, going back to the goaltending situation, what'd you like about Patrick Charette coming in here? Because he's hit the ground running for you guys. You know, in the 4 games he's played, I think he's won all 4.
Yeah, I mean, he's been great. He's a big body that stays on his feet, and you know, he's got good calmness, and I enjoyed talking to him. You know, Rockland let me speak to him, and we're talking, and you know, that one point I think did not think it was going to happen, but you know, at the end of the day, just got to get, you know, it's a feel when I talk to somebody. You know, I don't know why. Sometimes I just know that this kid's going to be good. This kid's the right kid, and it has to be the right kid for the room. The worst thing you can do is bring something in that, you know, tears it in. Having 4 goalies, I guess, isn't easy. It's not easy on the room, but you know, it is what it is. And we got 24 players on this team, and at the end of the day, if we're the last man standing, no one's going to care who won the last game or who scored the winning goal. Or all they're going to care is they won together. Yep. And you know, what's the old saying? You win together, you walk together forever. Yep. So, you know, it's about us figuring out what's best for the team. It's my job, our staff's job, Josh and us, to figure out what's going on, and it's one day at a time. And I will not look ahead to. I will not get ahead of myself. I won't worry about who I'm playing in the playoffs. We got a week to prepare. Yeah. When we're playing, when our season ends, and then we'll start preparing and be ready then.
Well, we're looking forward to it either way. And like I said, when on the topic, just before we move off of Patrick Charette, when we had him on as our player of the game, he was very animated and really played to the camera. I was like, perfect, this kid's going to be great. I did feel for him, though. His first goal in that very first game against Espanola was like right off the back of Signoretti or something, like 30 seconds, and it's like, oh, come on. Like, but on the bright side, Signoretti's the only guy who could score that night, so he stopped everyone else.
Exactly.
I'll take 2 wins over Sudbury, too, in those couple of games
Absolutely.
as well.
He's been great for us.
I wanted to get your thoughts, too, kind of, you know, it's your second year in the league. You're coming slowly to the end of it, but this year feels more methodical and more planned out, whereas last year it felt like you and Josh were trying to play catch-up just because of how late everything started. What's the second go-around been like for you here in the NOJHL?
Yeah, it's been great. You know, it's a great league. There's a lot of great players in this league. There's a lot of good coaches in this league. This league does not get credit for how well it's run, what Robert Mazuka and Ted McGee and his staff do to run this league, and how well prepared and organized they are. I think they do an unbelievable job. I've really enjoyed it. It's been special. It's been tough losing your captain early, and then getting Mike McLean 6 games and then he's gone, and you know, but all those things make you better. Yep. They you know, makes you work harder, makes you dig deeper, makes you realize what you had, and it just, you know, it's I love being up here. I love coaching in this league. I love the people of Powassan, North Bay, you know, Nipissing, Callander, Corbeil, the whole area, Bonfield. Everyone I meet is just super nice people, and you know, I'm blessed to be here. Thank you to Jim Bruce for the opportunity, and you know, believing in me and giving me this opportunity. And Jim wants to win, and I'd rather work for somebody that wants to win than someone who doesn't want to win. You know, it's he wants to win so bad. He's as passionate as any owner I've ever had, and you know, I respect him for it. I really do. It's a good feeling knowing that if you need to go get a trade and get a player, you can go get him. Yep. And you know, it is. You know, he's done an unbelievable job with this team for the 10 or 12 years he's had it, and you know, I've enjoyed every minute with him and Chris Dawson and Josh Hardiman, Josh Dale, Ryan Gilchrist, you know, Matt McDougall last year, Braden Haas this year. You know, hey, we have our disagreements. We all have at some point. Yeah. But that's hockey. That's life. It's no different than marriage or going through school or growing up with a younger brother. There's always conflict, and there's always things that get said or that happen, and that's just part of life. That's everyday life. So just take it one day at a time. If I wake up tomorrow, I'll worry about it tomorrow. If I don't, then good luck.
You're right on the button though about Jim. It's funny whenever he goes away. He watches every game, right? So we'll be broadcasting. We can't get anything by him because my phone will go off mid-broadcast. It'll be him texting me something about something or other. And it's like, the owner's watching. We got to be careful now.
Yeah, he doesn't miss a game. He's unbelievable. He's a good human, a good person with a great heart, and passionate about winning. And you got to love him for that.
I wanted to ask, watching you coach the last couple of years has been, nothing short of a joy. I mean, you kind of figure out some guys' tendencies a little bit. And yeah, we've talked about the older guys a little bit, but I want to get your sense on your younger guys this year. Your Caleb Dawsons, your Justin Russos, your Caden DuBrois, your Mason Rotundos, and your Wraith Smiths. They've all contributed in big ways, I would say, this year, especially considering your entire quote-unquote fourth line is rookies in the league this year. That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely... Definitely, those guys, man, they are all going to be really good hockey players. They're going to be the guys one day. They'll be the captains of the teams. They're going to be the top scorers in this league. They've, I know at times it's been hard. I know at times they haven't played a lot. It's, our best offensive line, Smith, McMillan, and Thompson don't play as many minutes as, some other guys do either. And they're arguably our best offensive line. They've done a great job. And, but those Rotundo and even Jaden Sturge is going to be really good. He's in the second year, but coming off that broken wrist. Can't say enough about Caden DuBrois. Big, heavy body, skates like a pro.
He's so fast.
A lot of upside. Once he finds a scoring touch and finds that at this level, he's going to be deadly with his foot speed. And he gets a step on you, he's gone. And if he runs into you with his speed, you're in big trouble, as we've witnessed lately. Caleb Dawson's I think he's a natural goal scorer. He's a big body. He's had a great year for a first year. He's ups and downs. The biggest thing with young guys is defensively more than anything. Caleb Dawson's going to be unbelievable. I think he'll lead this league in goals one day. I mean that sincerely. He'll be a 40, 50 goal scorer. Caden DuBrois will be a top scorer. And, Justin Roussell's just, man, he's everything. He's complete for an 18-year-old player. He doesn't have, the numbers that, that Caden or Dawson have, but defensively, kill penalties, stand in front of the net, take a beating, hit hard, play hard, back check hard, smart, cuts the ice in half every time, never turns his back to the play, stick on puck, all stuff that can take years to teach a player what to do and how to do it properly, and a lot of video, and sometimes some players don't get it, and he has all the little things down pat, and that line in a couple of years will be, if they stick together, they'll be unstoppable. They'll be they'll be unbelievable in this league. And Mason Rotundo is going to be a hell of a defenseman. He's had a great first year, and can't ask enough of what he's done for us and how he contributes. He's not very big, but he plays hard. Sometimes he overzealous. Is that the word? Sometimes he's a little, he thinks he's a tough guy. Is, I guess, the word I would say. But he's such a good hockey player. He doesn't have to be like that. I benched him the other day for taking a penalty, for 15 minutes. And to Josh Hardiman's credit, Josh softened me up, and we got him back out on the ice. But when Mason is going to be no different than DuBrois and Dawson and Russo, they're going to be the leaders of this hockey team, and one day they will lead this team to a championship.
I think what's been the biggest surprise to me out of those guys is a guy like Mason Rotundo, because last year covering the U18 Trappers, I didn't pay much attention to the U16 Trappers. So to see him come out, and I just kind of thought with the record, okay, well, they've just had a bad year, all the players aren't gelling or something. To see him come out and have the season that he's had so far is impressive. With a guy like Wraith Smith, he's kind of the crown jewel of prospects for the North Bay Battalion right now, especially with the way he's played this year for you. He scores a great shootout winner in Sudbury the other day. Just what's that mean to you to have, the battalion kind of entrust this guy for you guys to guide him in his first year of junior hockey?
Yeah, it's everything. Smitty, wow, what a player. Right from day one, from the time we laid eyes on him, I called Adam before I got out the arena doors, and I said, Adam, I want this guy. I said, you've got a beauty here. This kid, all the potential in the world, skates like a pro, size, good kid, has fun, laughs, loves the game of hockey, loves it. Adam and the staff, I believe they got him at, I don't want to make a mistake, but I believe it was in the 5th round. They had 2 picks, and it was one of their picks in the 5th.
Fourth or fifth. It was
fourth or fifth. Yeah. I think they had 3 picks in there, and he was one of those 3 picks. And wow, what a find! You know how that kid goes in. If it is the 5th round, the 5th round is, you know, it's crazy. And I think Adam only had a 2nd round. Then I think he was a 3rd pick actually.
Yeah.
In the 5th round, and
yeah.
You look at all the teams in the OHL that missed him. You know, 80 other picks, or maybe even more. What is it? There's 20 teams.
Yeah.
80 picks before him, maybe 85 that, you know, before he gets picked. And for Adam, you know, speaks of volumes for Adam Dennis and the staff that he has and the job that he does. And he's always out scouting. I call him a lot. He's on the road. And, you know, and then for him to, you know, trust us with him and let him play for us. And, you know, it's been tremendous. You know, Risman played for us and made the team. He's down right now playing in Halliburton just to get minutes and games. And, you know, but Smith is going to be special. You're going to see his name called down the road in the draft if he continues to work hard and develop and, you know, stays on track and keeps his focus on the game of hockey. That kid has got he's got endless potential. I've seen a lot of good ones, and he's going to be one of those kids.
Well, I thought it was impressive. We had Adam in here midsummer, and we were going through the draft, and I like everyone, I said his name wrong the first time because he looks like more like a wreath than a wraith. Mm-hmm. But he told me right then and there, he's like, you got to know his name. He's going to be in Powassan this year. And like, that was just kind of like, oh, you're giving this guy right away, like no hesitation. So speaks volumes, and he's been super fun to watch. I mean, sometimes he could just take over an entire hockey game. Yeah, at his age and your level is wild.
Yeah, that game against Espanola, where Siggy scored 4 goals and he had 3. You know, he has the ability to put the team on his back. He misses. I think he misses a breakaway every game. He finds that ice. Our guys find him. You know, he's got 22 goals, I believe, and he could easily have 35. Yeah. You know, he's a special talent. He's a generational player for our level, and he's going to be a star for North Bay Battalion. We talked about this actually going into that Espanola game, how you guys hadn't had a 20 goal scorer at that point, and then he comes out of nowhere and gets to 20 that game. You know, Matt McMillan's been sitting on the door. He might be at 20 now. I don't know after the last couple of road games, but he was sitting on the doorstep for a while. Chase Thompson's there, you know, but you guys are very much a score by committee team. You look at your goal total on the season, you guys are up there, but there's no one that's like taken over. Like, you know, you look like a guy like Harry Clark and Timmins is 30 points ahead of the next guy on his team. You guys are all relatively by committee. What's that? What's the messaging on that one, and how do you coach the team around that? It's just balance. It's just having 4 good lines, and it's nice to have. It's nice to have the ability to score in all 3 lines. And if you look at the chances that, and I think it's due to their age and how young they are, but if you look at the chances Caden DeBroy has, like he missed a breakaway there, beat the D wide in Sudbury, doesn't finish. Chances Caleb Dawson has, and Moose made a great move in the Sudbury game, walked in all alone and missed the net. You know, once those guys figure it out, you know, and if they can figure it out in the next 11 games, you know, it's nice to have 4 lines. That 4th line could have a lot more points than they have right now. They get the opportunities. They've just got to learn the game at this level. It's a little bit different. Goalie's a little bit better, a little bigger, and but once those guys get it, you know, it's 4 really, really deep lines.
This might be a tough question for you to answer, especially because there's still much of the season left, and then there's the playoffs ahead of it. For you, when does recruiting start to kind of take over your mind a little bit? Is it like a 365-day kind of thing, or is it, okay, season's done, let's start looking at next season?
Yeah, it's 365 days a year, but once January 10th goes, once we get by that deadline, it's, you know, I'm on the phone the last, you know, 10 days talking to players, you know, figuring out what they're doing. I drove to Toronto on Saturday, watched a couple games. I'm doing everything. I'm into recruiting. I'm into starting to get our camp going in July. I'm into winning with this team. You know, I wake up and I'm doing emails or watching a game, watching video, all that stuff. And, I got to manage it all. And the number one goal is with this team and to get to a championship with this team, get to the finals. And that's my first goal. But I do have to keep in mind that we do have to build for next year, and I can't start that when the season ends because it'll be too late. I have to start that right now, and that process is starting. And in saying that, I got to respect the teams that those kids are playing on. I tell every kid I speak to, you got to stay focused on your team. It's the most important thing. But I want to let you know that I am interested. If you're interested in being a Voodoo next year, we are interested. We'll touch base once your season's over. I'll reach back out to you and take it one day at a time. So it's definitely it doesn't stop. My scouts out there, I got a Billy Griffiths, my head scout, been with me for probably 18 of my 20 years. Has been great, unbelievable scout. He deserves a lot of credit for this team we have here today and the teams we won championship with. He deserves credits. My 3 championships, he's always had a player there on the team, sometimes 2 or 3, and he does an unbelievable job for us. He's a great guy, and another guy I have a great relationship with. And surround yourself with good people. No matter what you're going to do in life, you have good people working for you, around you, people that treat people the way you want to be treated and the way you treat people. And, no matter what you do, you're going to bang heads or things aren't going to always go smooth. But I'm lucky the staff that we have here and having Bill Griffiths and a good friend, Bobby Mills, who scouted in the NHL for a long time, worked in Parks and Recs for a long time, a great hockey guy. Talked to him today for an hour. Just got good people around me, and I'm blessed for that. And it's good. I love getting up every day and doing my job. I haven't worked in 20 years. I haven't worked a day. To get up every day, and I think I've missed two day practice, and I was in the hospital a couple of days for a small surgery, and one day was sick, and I still went to the rink. I just didn't go in the room. I sat up in the stands and watched the game. Every single day I want to go to work and I want to get up, and it has its days like anything. It's moments, but they're very short, like 10 minutes, and I'm ready to go again. So
yeah.
So it's good.
Can't complain when you don't feel like you're going to work.
It's a special feeling.
I was going to wrap it up with that, but I kind of thought of something when we were talking about recruitment where you mentioned you can't wait till the end of the season. So let's rewind to last year when, you guys got the job late. Everything happened super late. Of course, we've talked about that before. We don't need to bring that back up. But what was that kind of like for you where, okay, now I'm with a new team and I have to start recruiting, right away, like hit the ground running?
Drop everything you're doing and work.
Yeah, fair enough.
On the phone 18 hours a day, trying to find out, talking to the guys who are coming back. First thing I had to do was get to camp. I had 8 days for camp. Chris Dawson had done a great job already. Had players lined up, and I think we went from 30 players to 65 players, and I had 8 days to do it. And, it's, being in the game for 20 years, there's guys that say, hey, Peter, give this. As soon as they heard I got a job, they're calling me, and this guy, Peter, give this guy a call. This guy was at my camp. Get him in front of you. Chris and the staff and Mark, before he left, they'd already signed some players. So it wasn't the end of the world. Chris Dawson, as you've known him a long time, does a good job. And he was, I would say he was prepared. He had some good guys. A couple guys didn't make it with us, but for throughout the whole year. But, if they didn't have Chris here, it might have been a lot tougher. But, between Chris's contacts, has been in the game a long time, and myself and Bill Griffiths and, Josh Hardiman, we pulled it together really quickly, and we had a great bunch of guys last year, and we had a great team, and just a bunch of injuries down the stretch, sort of derailed us a little bit, and that can't be an excuse. It's, when you look at, you're talking about how good our fourth line is, and I know how good they are. If something happens, someone goes down, they got to step up. They got to step up and do their job, and I believe that they can. But that's why you got to have that depth. And if you look at where those 3 young men have came from, including Mason Rotundo, Smith, I think, scored in his first game. He hit the ground running pretty good. But if you looked at where all 5 of those guys were in September to where they are now, that's why I was able to trade Darby McCarthy. Yeah, because they were playing as well as Darby McCarthy. Darby McCarthy is a great player, and he likes it in Sioux. He's having fun, but how do you not play those kids. It's hard not to. And I put myself in a situation signing Will Reve, but when I looked at, and Will's a great player. I tried to sign Will the last 2 summers. I tried to trade for him when I first got here. I heard he wasn't going back to Smith Falls. And good friends with Pat Malloy in Smith Falls. We talked. Will just wasn't into it. And, when Caden DeBroy got that 2-game suspension, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I got 12 forwards. And I said, if something happens,
you need a guy.
I need a guy. Your APs are good, but they're not as good as Will Reve. And I said, your first game in hers, someone gets a 2-game suspension, a forward gets hurt, you're down to 10.
Yeah,
you can't win a playoff with 10. So I need to, it's a move to protect our hockey team again. It's protect the players on the team, and makes my decision tough now because I got to start sitting a player. Turner was hurt last game in Sudbury, so he didn't play. Probably could have played, but I held him out. Same with Jackson Smith wants to play this weekend. If he gets banged up again, his season might be over. He might be 4 or 6 weeks and not get in until the 2nd, 3rd round. So, it's we got to win every game, but we got to win it with the guys that are in there to win it for us, and we got to make sure that we're ready for the playoffs when they start. That's the biggest focus here, is be ready the March 21st, 22nd, whenever we start, wherever it is, home or away. Make sure we're ready to go.
Okay, so I lied. I have one more question. It's still a recruitment kind of thing, but it's looking on your team now. There's a lot of guys, and speaking of a guy who's been hot lately, he's like Zach Turner before he got hurt. He was riding quite the hot stick. But you got guys like him, you got guys like Dylan McElhaney that have come on here and basically said, you guys were circling each other for a few years. There was always, you were talking to them, they were talking to you, but it never really worked out. On your side of things, when these guys finally say, I'm coming to Powassan, is that like a yes moment?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
That's
absolutely
great.
It really is. It's I've been after Zach Turner and McElhaney for 3 years. Every year I talk to him.
Yeah.
Every year, they're playing outlaw hockey in the States, and I'm talking to them, because I can get them. Last year, Turner was actually in the NA3, and I wasn't allowed to speak to him in that. But as soon as the season ended, all over him.
Yeah.
And, McElhaney was all over him too. And finally in November, he decided he would come, it's a big yes. It's a great feeling. Because deep down, I've been watching them for 3 years. There's a reason I want them, and when you see how Turner's played here in the last 10 games before it's a little bump in the road, he's been unbelievable. He's been arguably our best player every night.
Yeah,
he does everything so well. He finishes checks. He's coachable. Blocks shots. I think he had 4 or 5 games in a row he scored, and I think he scored 6 or 7 games. But he just does it the right way, and those are the guys you win championships with. Those are the guys that they bear down, and the Cameron Lemkes, the Tucker Shields, the Alex Littles, Big Mike McLean, Jackson Smith. Those veterans are the guys that are going to get it done for us, and I look forward to. We all look forward to going into battle with those guys and being ready to go.
I know you might not be looking forward to the playoffs, but I can tell you we're pretty excited for playoff hockey. So I know you want to finish out the season strong. So we'll do it for you. We'll dream about the playoffs for you here on the front line. But Peter, we really appreciate you coming on here, and you kind of are already looking ahead to it. The beard's coming back in, so
I'm preparing. It's in the back of my. It's like recruiting. I'm doing it all the time.
There we go.
I'm watching a lot of hockey right now. I know Josh Hardiman's watching games every single night. Everyone thinks he's sitting at home doing nothing. Well, I could tell you he's doing video and looking at games, and he's probably. Besides getting up and being at the rink by 6:15 every morning, and he's probably on video probably 8-9 hours a day, if not more, preparing our guys and the team, and sharing stuff with me, and it's awesome. It's everyone loves the playoffs. It's what it's all about. That's why we do this all season, and we. Get ready to go, and we can't wait, but we do have to finish this right, finish this, play the right way every single game, every single shift. And if we don't, then it's my job to get on these guys and make sure that they're ready to go, and we're not taking 2 steps forward, 1 back. Don't have time for that.
Well, we are pretty excited to see how it all goes and how it all plays out. And we're hoping, at the end of it, we're talking, there might be a trophy here at the studio or something that we can talk about. Although I will say, I will critique you on one thing. You did praise Chris Dawson on this podcast, and that's something we do not do.
You don't.
No, we
My apologies.
we try to keep it so his head can fit through the door. But Peter, no, we really do appreciate you coming in here today, and it's always fun to talk to you on the podcast.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I look forward to the next time, and hopefully it's the right moment for all of us.
For sure.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Barry! Huh? I told you not to be scaring the customers.
Hey, Barry! Come on in for a bite. And bring Brianna with you.
For only 2 minutes up the hill, where you're only a stranger once.
Ready to embark on an electrifying adventure? Look no further than the Mitsubishi Outlander, available in gas or PHEV, the SUV that redefines excellence. Recently awarded the best midsize utility vehicle in Canada for 2023 by AJAC. This bold and sophisticated SUV delivers advanced performance, safety, and tech, plus peace of mind with its standard super all-wheel control and the best warranty in the business. With red-hot deals and plenty in stock, your award-winning drive starts with the Mitsubishi Outlander.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1. Our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2. Northern Honda has the lowest tire price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3. The lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
And a huge thanks to Voodoos head coach Peter Goulet for joining us here on the podcast as we are ready for the back half of our episode. Did you Snapchat while we're recording?
No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
That's a lie. I saw the whole thing. I was just being nice, letting you try to explain yourself.
I was answering a text.
That was Snapchat.
I don't know what you mean.
No?
Lies.
Oh, okay. Well, it definitely was maybe Snapchat. So anyways, here we are. That's Cassie Millen, everybody, who's all about Snapchat.
I'm not all about Snapchat.
That's all you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do that and you fight people in hockey.
Okay, she deserved it, okay?
I'm not disagreeing with you.
It might have been roughing to it wasn't a fight to she deserved it real quick.
And he's Harrison from the Garrison.
Hello.
Again, huge thanks to because somebody derailed my intro with their Snapchat, getting all the filters out there. Actually, one of the best Snapchats I've ever done, because I'm not very good at Snapchat and I don't really care for Snapchat, is we have air filters at work. And I put it in front of my face. I was like, check out my new Snapchat filter.
Oh my gosh. No wonder you have that terrible joke calendar at work.
To be fair, I got that from Topanga's sister for Christmas.
Okay, that clocks.
Wow. You gotta hear the great pun from today.
Oh no.
It's a great pun almost every day. My friend's 4-year-old child has been learning Spanish all year and still can't say the word please, which I think is poor for 4.
Ow.
That's really sad.
Bad.
Cinderella was annoyed when her photos hadn't arrived. She said, someday my prince will come.
Well, we can stop recording because everybody's left.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody leaves anyways at this point. I got... We're just doing this for our own self now. I got confused with Alcoholics Anonymous and the Automobile Association when I tried to join recently. Either way, I'm on the road to recovery. Nothing? No?
Nope.
No, that's all I got, like up close.
Those were all really sad.
I recently returned to speak at the annual Plastic Surgery Addiction Conference. It was great to see some old friends and lots of new faces.
That one I kind of like. That one's kind of fun. That was kind of fun.
So this is the only reason why I enjoy going to work in the mornings, because I get to flip over the calendar and see what's next. Nostalgia isn't what it used to be.
That's not even a joke. That's just...
Roundabouts are never straightforward.
It's just the switch up between the complexity, like for the setup, someone that's just like, haha, here you go. This sucks.
This one's good because we've had some run-ins with Neil Diamond on this podcast before with Ben Sargent. Apparently, Neil Diamond's real name is Neil Carbon. His record company put him under extreme pressure to change it. Anyways, we've derailed this pretty quick. So hockey. It happens.
Sometimes.
Only in the winters and fall and spring.
Unless you're into ball hockey.
Which we are.
Yes.
But we're not very good at it.
No, we're not. I'm not.
Well, neither
some people are.
I mean, Brad's pretty good.
Brad is pretty good.
I'll give Brad credit.
Ben's pretty good.
Like Ben Long or Ben Sargent?
Ben Long.
He was like nodding as soon as he said Ben's pretty good.
I saw him be happy, and I realized I made an error.
He made a critical error. How's he going to be? The thing about it is last week's episode was literally called We Blew Our Sound Effect Budget. And every time you use a sound effect, we're going further and further into debt.
So,
we're gonna owe our lives to the podcast soon enough.
Great.
He needs like a cha-ching button or something. No. Oh no.
Oh, no. What? You knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing.
Cash money, Mike McIver, baby. Yeah. Anyways,
on that note, shall we?
There it is.
Talk about the Battalion.
Side note: "Money" by Pink Floyd is the best Pink Floyd song. Don't at me. Harrison, we gotta talk though. We kind of like.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
That went longer than I thought.
Oh, it's just a whole. He's just DJing now. It's not even sound effects.
Well, I mean, I've seen it's a pretty easy gig according to some people here around town. So, but anyways, so
what do we need to talk about? 2K.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good DJ name, eh?
DJ 2K Kenny.
Or K2, as Ty Nelson likes to call me.
That's true.
Speaking of Ty Nelson, he made his return last weekend, I guess. But this, the game, or was it this game? Yeah, it was this game.
Yeah.
The Battalion beat the Ottawa 67s. If you're here for good times from the Battalion, that's it. Because they lost the next 2 games. Beating the 67s 3-2. Again, we won't go too far into detail in this one because the after-action report goes through this one pretty in-depth. The troops had a 3-0 lead off the sticks of Sandus the Mandus Vilmanis, Owen Van Steensel, and Liam Arnsby. Third period starting 15 seconds in, Ottawa started to crawl back with Braden Kressler and Will Giroir making it 3-2. Harrison, we were on the front line. We were on the we were on that. We were on the front lines, North Bay Mitsubishi after action report together on that one. So good win for the Battalion, but it got a little bit tighter than we expected.
Yep, it's always a problem when the 67s are in town. It's always close, whether like no matter where the 67s tend to be in their season. They went on a bit of a losing stretch, as brought up a few times, because it's always good to see the 67s go on a losing stretch, but it's always a battle whenever the Battalion face them, and this one got a little close for comfort, but they were able to squeak it out, and you know, it was the end of the Battalion's 4-game winning streak, because Yeah, the next couple of games did not go so hot.
No, it didn't. Are you Snapchatting again, Kassie?
No.
Do we bore you?
No.
Apparently. We're old. She's old. Young and hip. She's what? She's with it. I used to be with it, and then they changed what it is.
It's not me, it's the children who are wrong.
The Simpsons have so many good moments like that.
You make me feel old at 25. I don't know how that's possible.
My back pain tells me I'm pretty old at 31.
Yeah.
Although when I say that at work, the people that I work with are like, if you're old, what does that make us? And I'm like, good point. Good point. Yeah. Watch out. The dust is coming. I'm just kidding. I kid. They're all good people that I work with. Maybe. Hey, bitch. He's my age. And,
that's true.
I can't really delve into it here, but he had a little interesting connection with the Frontline recently. So, you were going to say something, Harrison?
No.
Oh, it looked like you were getting ready to say something.
No, my lips are just dry.
Yeah?
Yeah, stuck my tongue out.
At least it's better than being on Snapchat the whole episode.
I haven't been on Snapchat the whole episode.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Sure.
Positive.
Right.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite Dr. Evil lines. Anyways, I use that GIF way too much. The next game I was not around for, so I didn't really get to watch this game. Saginaw winning that one 5-2, and which they went up, or 5-3, sorry. Thank you, producer Ben. The troops did make it a bit of a game in the later in the game, but Saginaw was up 4-0 before the end of the first period. Josh Bloom making his return with his 7th goal to start things off. Zane Perek with his 27th as a defenseman. Hey, good for you. Rodwin Dioniso with his 20th, and then Ethan Hay with his 11th. Justin Ertl getting things started early in the second to give them some life. Owen Van Steensel getting his 30th, and then Bryce Cook with his 10th in the third, and then that's where the good times ended as Josh Bloom put the Spirit up by 2, and he a pretty successful return for Josh Bloom, although a lot of people online are very upset with how the penalty kill went because they had a 5-minute major against them in the first period, and they scored 3 goals in that 5-minute major.
Yeah, you say that's where the good times ended. I don't think the good times ever had a chance to start in this one, as that 5-minute major against Terrian, I believe the final call on it was a hit from behind, and the verdict just came in today that it would be a 5-game suspension. He is eligible to return on March 3rd, I believe the date is. So, yeah, those first 3 goals for the Saginaw Spirit were on that 5-minute major, one at 8:33, 9:07, and then 11:09. And yeah, Bloom opening this one, like you were expecting him to put something on the board, but him having the bookend goals on this one just feels like a little bit of an extra sting.
Yep, and well, they'll be playing Sarnia this weekend.
Yeah, they will. And hopefully a little bit better than their last showing when they did go on that February road trip, because that last year,
like 9-2 or whatever.
Yeah, it was a beating.
Although you got to think some of the guys like Sandus, Philmanis, and the LeBlanc twins will be a little bit extra motivated going back to their old barn. But the battalion should also be extra motivated moving into this weekend because they'll be playing Saginaw again. We'll talk a little bit more about the Jacob Terrian suspension in just a moment. But the last game the battalion played was on, we kind of like flipped the battalion and I was coming back on Highway 17. They were heading towards Ottawa on Highway 17. But the battalion falling to the 67s in that one, unfortunately 6-3. Iggy Pazzi got the goal scoring started. Luca Pinelli, who Ben Long and Brad Brooks stole as your player to watch in the after report. But hey, he scored anyways.
He's always a safe bet.
Yeah. Dallin Wakely with his 28th. Luca Pinelli with his 40th. Henry Muse and Brady Stonehouse, who Brady Stonehouse always scores against the battalion, it feels like. Andrew LeBlanc brought it back to within a couple, and then Samuel Maye and Brady Stonehouse again finishing off the scoring in that one. So not a great showing from the battalion in the nation's capital, Harrison.
No, things just never seemed to get rolling in that one. They had a couple of good opportunities, Pazzi getting on the board fairly early, and that gives you a bit of hope when you're starting to watch. It's like, okay, cool. And then Pinelli on home ice, Wakely answers back, and then Pinelli just one more goal, and it seemed like the 67s never stopped rolling after that. It was a rough past couple of games for the Battalion. They couldn't get a lot done. Their special teams weren't great. They didn't have a power play goal at all in this one, and in fact, Sam Maye, the second last goal of the game in this one, was a shorthanded empty net insurance goal.
Ooh.
Yeah. So after coming off of a 4-game win streak, things sort of seemed to teeter the other way.
Yeah, and at this point of the year, any win streak is great, especially. But on the bright side, I suppose, well, I don't know if Sudbury had lost a game this weekend, but he didn't gain any ground, unfortunately. Now it's all bunched up again at the top of the Eastern Conference. Moving to the NOJHL, who we talked about a lot with head coach Peter Goulet, unfortunately falling 4-2 to Espanola. He's of the assumption that they kind of beat themselves in that game, and I would have to agree. Luke Signoretti with a shorthanded goal halfway through the first. Jack Lyons with his 14th. Signoretti, with his 37th, I should say. Graydon Guthrie with his 14th in the second, and it's 3-0 Paper Kings before the Voodoos get on the board. Chase Thompson with his 20th, and then Will Rive with his first of the season. And then in the third, Graydon Guthrie real quick, putting them up, and that would be all she wrote in that one, making that one 4-2. The next day, however, we have a little bit of cause for celebration as, take that, Sudbury. 3-2 victory for the Voodoos. Alex Little with his seventh shorthanded, assisted by the big defender Mike McLean. Ethan Larmah with his 6th. In the second, got them on the board. Hudson Chitteroni with his 27th. He's having a remarkable 16-year-old season as well. Put them up 2-1 late in the second. Then late with the goalie pulled, less than 2 minutes left on the clock. Tucker Shields ties things up with his 12th. And then the shootout, the Voodoos pulled away as Wraith Smith scores the winner, Harrison. Yeah, it was an intense one towards the end there. I caught the audio call on that one towards the end, and I was just like, oh no, or is Sudbury going to get their revenge? And they did not, as Charette picks up another win against them. The Voodoos in general do, and it's got to feel good because it feels like the Cubs had just been winning everything against the Voodoos this year. Against everyone. Yeah, well, against everyone, not in named fairness. Blind River. Blind River has kind of been a thorn in their side. And it's really good to see the Voodoos taking a couple victories against the Cubs here as the season winds down, as you need to be getting into playoff form and need to be showing that, hey, you can take down these high-caliber teams. The impressive thing is, you look at the first period shots on goal, it's 16-5 in favor of Sudbury, and the Voodoos came out of that with a 1-0 lead. That's Patrick Charette, man, oh man. He's been what a find for the Voodoos. Again, we talked to Peter about it a little bit, about the 4-goalie system, which is very rare. But when you have 4 goalies that can win you games, Patrick Charette has just won every game he's played so far. Yeah, and he previously to this game faced Iroquois Falls, in which they won that one, and then it was Sudbury before that, and then I think it was French River, his first showing. No, he played Espanola. No, it was Espanola. Because we were at that game. Yes. And did that game together. Yes, one of the best games of the season so far. Fun game. Absolutely fun game. Wild. I would be saying something different if the Voodoos lost that game, but still a fun game. It was still very, very fun back and forth action. All the players you expected to show up did, and the new one in that one, Charette, did as well. So I'm really excited to see how things turn out as the season winds down here for the Powassan Voodoos. Things are getting into playoff mode as we end February here. It's the 21st, the date of us recording this one now. So only, I think it's 3 more home games for the Voodoos. I think it's 4 technically because of the Hearst game. Because of the Hearst game, which is still yet to be rescheduled. Yeah. But hopefully we know that sooner rather than later, because it's starting to get to that point where it's close in the season where, like, the nice thing about playoff hockey is great, but the uncertainty schedule-wise always drives me bonkers. Yep. It's the first 4 games for sure, and then anything outside of that, it's just like, well, be ready to jump on and do a broadcast, which is exciting in its own way, but at the same time, it's hard to schedule anything around. It was really annoying last year when I went on the road a lot to be like, okay, are we going to have to be here for this game, or do I get the night off? Like, what's going on? At least with the home games, it's like, okay, well, at least we can sleep in our own bed.
Yeah, we kind of know that. So that's a nice change of pace this year that we're not really doing any road games. Unless, hey, maybe looking at the future, something happens in the Nodes where the Voodoos face the Cubs. That wouldn't be too hard. That would be really awesome to see some games that way. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
No, like I don't think any of us are going to be able to go up to Hearst unless it's on a weekend. Because likely that's who the first round matchup's going to be, and then you're likely facing off against Timmins. In the next round if you make it past Hearst. Unless Iroquois Falls or whoever makes it as a fourth team, unless Iroquois Falls can like pull a miracle. Yeah. Last year the miracle was French River even won a game against Timmins.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Very unexpected. And then if the Voodoos make the finals, it's probably going to be Blind River or Sudbury. I mean, it'd be nice to get Sudbury just for the fact that it's close. Blind River is about 3 hours away. Yep. So we'll get into the length of road trip here in a bit because I do have some weekend stuff that happened this weekend that I want to talk about. But first, we'll wrap things back to the OHL here real quick because as a Leaf fan, I have a lot to say on this. Jacob Terrian's suspension.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Don't do that hit.
Yeah, that is
a suspendable hit. 5 games seems a little extreme.
I was expecting 3, especially with the severity of like the way things have been called in the OHL this year. Yeah. It just seems to be a little bit on the heavy side, especially he's a first-time offender in this. It was a bad play, but 5 games seems like a lot.
Kassie, did you see a video of the hit?
No.
No, okay. It's a little bit tough if you haven't seen the hit to really comment on it. But 5 games, I think, at any level seems like 5 games is always a big suspension. Like, well, okay, like things are going crazy here. But the nice thing about the OHL is the OHL is at least consistent with its discipline, unlike the big league. But that's beside the point.
Yeah, 5 games seems to kind of be a repeating theme throughout hockey this year, whether it's not Nylander, my bad. Wow. That was the Riley hit.
As a fan of the Montreal Canadiens, because I know how Ben Long is. Ben Long's just, if anything bad against the Leafs, he's happy. But as a fan of the Habs, who's objectively a hockey fan in general, you just appreciate hockey, and that's what I appreciate about talking to you, other than you, Ben Long. But I wanted to ask, what was your thoughts on the Morgan Rielly suspension?
My first thought as a Habs fan was that's not as bad as what Brendan Gallagher did, who also got 5 games for just a ridiculous hit to the head.
Oh, it was so stupid. What are you doing?
Out of nowhere, basically blindside, just throwing the elbow at full speed. When I saw 5 games for that, I was like, yeah, that makes complete sense. But when I saw the Morgan Rielly thing, I was like, okay, they took a little bit of time. And then when I saw that it was going to go to an in-person hearing, I was like, oh, they're just going to throw the book at him because they can.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. I did find the explanation from the league a little bit humorous, though, because it seemed like the angle that, just from the report that came out from the league, seemed to be that the Leafs tried to argue a little bit that it was retaliatory in some way, but whether it's unwritten rules or not, it seems to be the league was just like, yeah, he just kind of came out of nowhere and smoked the dude.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see why they'd want to go a bit heavy-handed on this to discourage stuff like that, especially once the game is well and over. But on the flip side, you can totally see why people are like, yeah, you got to expect somebody to blow up, especially when you're losing to a team like that.
So here's my stance on it as a Leafs fan who is always pessimistic about my team because I'm a Leaf. I'm not one of these Leafs fans that are like, oh, they've won 2 in a row, playing the parade.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. It'll be really sad if they squander the greatest player that they've ever had and one of the greatest players in the league, and that's Austin Matthews. I mean, the guy's going to score 70 goals this year, and arguably this is the worst showing you've had as a team with him on your roster.
He has as many hat tricks as 155 players or something like that have scored goals. I think was the stat. I'm probably butchering that, but it's just absurdity. The numbers that Matthews is putting up. He's a monster.
He's ridiculous, and this is what happens when he's fully healthy. Like last year was like, oh, he only had 40 goals. Well,
only yeah.
So this is the thing like that pisses me off about it is that the Leafs are such a good team and they have so much talent around them, but then all the guys that they brought in to score goals this offseason like Domi and Bertuzzi haven't, and I still hate the Reeves signing. Like that absolutely drove me up the wall, but that's beside the point. What we're talking about is the Morgan Rielly suspension, and here's my thoughts on the Morgan Rielly suspension. I really hate the slap shot into the empty net because that is an unwritten rule thing. Yeah. And it's a little bit different. I get he's a rookie and all this stuff, but that kind of makes it worse to me. So I think you need to retaliate. And that's the thing with the Leafs that's been lacking for years is that they don't retaliate. So I don't think Morgan Rielly should have been the guy to retaliate because he's Morgan Rielly. Guy had like 4 penalty minutes all season long before this. He was probably going to win the Lady Byng before this.
Yeah.
Which the Lady Byng is such a silly award. I mean, I get a sportsmanship, but then it comes down to whoever has the least amount of penalty. Like it's just, okay. I agree that something should have happened. I don't agree with the method of how it happened. I think, go over there, either push them into the boards or, drop the gloves right then and there. It's over. It's done with. So I agree that it's suspendable 100%, especially because the stick rode up into his head and everything. But I'm going to argue the same things that the Leafs argued. It's his first offense.
Yep.
It didn't hit. It wasn't going for his head initially. It rode up and hit him in the head. And, the player was not injured.
Yeah, the player was not injured. And I think that's part of like what the big argument for a lot of suspensions in the NHL is does the result of what happened to the player who was the quote unquote, I'm using this term simply because I don't have a better one, victim.
Yeah.
Does that actually matter, or is the action itself what matters when it comes to a suspension?
Yeah.
Because, like 5 games here, again, if you're contrasting just 2 things that happened real close to each other, the Gallagher flying out of nowhere, just taking the guy's head off, or something like this where luckily no one was injured.
Yeah.
Was it a bad call? Yes. But are those 2 in the same category?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or, I mean, we could even go back to like Trouba, like batting a guy's head off with his stick, right? Like stuff that has happened this year. And, I would have accepted 2 or 3 games for Rielly. Like 100%. The guy needs to sit. That's fine. I'm here for it. And good thing the Leafs are 4-0 without maybe you got to trade Rielly. Maybe then I don't know.
No. Okay, that's out of pocket. No. That's out of pocket.
But good thing the Leafs are 4-0. But then it was like Bettman up holding it. And I get it. He's got to have his guys back and yada, yada. But your Department of Player Safety, Bettman, is such a joke.
It has been for years.
And it has been since Shanahan ran it, but at least it was consistently a joke. Whereas like George Peros, who was an enforcer, and this is what stuff that he did for a living was putting people's face through glass, has made it worse somehow.
Yeah,
like it's just wild to me that this, again, 2 or 3 games for sure. 5 games is a little extreme, and all that stuff, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, well. That's kind of the thing that's been decried throughout hockey for the past, like, at least decade, it feels like, is we're not asking for it to be perfect. We're not asking for it to be, like, exactly as we think the rules should be. We're asking for it to be the exact same, whether it's reffing on the ice, whether it's
goaltender interference.
Okay, that's almost another bag of worms. Whether it's suspensions, whether it's, just calling rules in general. We're not asking for it to be perfect. We're asking for it to be consistent. And at any league, it doesn't seem to be that way.
No.
So that's the frustrating part is when an action happens, you want to know what the consequences are. And it kind of seems like a grab bag at this point.
Yeah, it's literally just, You know,
Who knows? Spin the wheel. And you landed on a 5-game suspension. You landed on $5,000 as allowable by the maximum fine in the CBA. So
which $5,000 for these guys just like drop in the bucket, like just like whatever.
Yeah.
That brings me back to like the Jason Spezza suspension a couple of years ago too. I know it's a Leafs thing, but guy had never been suspended in his career, gets 6 games right off the. And the guy had been in the league for like 20 years at this point. Like he's like, okay, sure, you know, like I'm not trying to be like, oh, they're out to get the Leafs. That's not me at all. Like I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, I'm not sitting here like with football where it's like, oh, it's scripted and Patrick Mahomes won another Super Bowl. Darn you. But it's like, this is just wild. I mean, I can see Kassie getting 5 games for her incident, you know, this weekend, but right,
5
Kassie?
games for fighting.
Yeah, 5 games for
It
fighting.
wasn't even fighting.
I know.
5 minutes for pushing.
Yeah, literally.
5 for pushing.
Anyways, that'll be a nice little segue here to the next segment. Kassie, we got to talk about your weekend a little bit down in Barrie, which is a lot of fun in the intro.
Yeah.
I hope you had a good time.
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you?
I did.
Okay.
I honestly did.
I don't know, you're kind of like, yeah. Oh, no, it's Snapchat.
No,
Snapchat's ringing.
It was my alarm. It was my alarm.
Kids these days.
I know.
I forgot to turn it off.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Okay.
Do they let you have phones in the classroom now?
Yeah.
What?
The teachers that I have are really chill, so.
I don't know.
Well, they let
I'm
you take
technically
this
one of your
again.
teachers, and I'm not chill.
What?
I said I'm technically one of your teachers, and I'm not chill.
I bought you an ice cap.
That's true. Yeah. Well, so that makes you chill.
Hey.
Well,
and thank you very much for the ice cup.
I can get you free food at the Powassan.
Yeah, but they made you pay the one time.
Yeah, but then they didn't the rest of the time. So.
Wow.
Again,
if anyone wants food,
all we're asking for is consistency in the hockey world, Kassie. You're part of the problem.
Yeah. Anyways, if anyone wants free food at Powassan Voodoos games, find Kassie.
Please don't. Please
find
don't.
Kassie.
No, thank you.
Find Kassie. Find Kassie.
I'm not. No, you're on your own on that one. I'm not. I'm
Thank
not
you.
changing that.
Come on. You guys are no fun.
No fun.
Pariahs on my own podcast.
But we're the reason. You're the reason we're here.
That's true. I did ask if you guys want to come on. Although Kassie just kind of assumes every week. She's just like, yeah, I'm just going to come on the podcast.
No, I ask. I always ask.
No, you ask when it is, but then you just put the headphones on and sit over in this chair. And what if I don't want you on the podcast?
Oh my gosh.
No, I always come in and I ask if I'm speaking tonight or not.
Here's the thing, and I'll say this for everyone to hear if anyone's still listening. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how are you? I always like think back to like the SpongeBob when he's like super like, because we talk about SpongeBob too much on here, when he's like super normal. He's like, hi. How are you? Anyways, I'll put this out there for anyone to listen to now. Kassie, you have a standing invitation to be on the podcast every week if you want it.
Okay.
It's in stone.
It's in stone.
It's in stone.
It's on the
Okay.
podcast. It's out there in the ether. There we go.
Oh no, the wrong button.
What were you trying to hit?
I didn't know what I was hitting. I was just like, whatever happens, happens, I guess.
Oh yeah, we're without a producer right now. We're all by ourselves. So it's like, you know, the road is like gone crazy. If you thought it was crazy with Ben before. Harrison, you just pulled a Matt Suckerman and played the
No! What have I done? What have I become?
Oops.
You either live long enough to see yourself become the villain or you die the hero.
Yep.
I have become the villain. I'm here for 5 weeks and I pull a Sukes. No.
Yeah, that's right. Matt, you're the villain too. Anyways, and he's only been on the show like twice since we moved to the studio in here, so brutal.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely
Unbelievable.
brutal.
I'm fired. I'm
Yep.
firing myself. I'm quitting.
That's
Bye.
fine.
That's fine. I was expecting a bit more disappointment, not like to actually be upset, but just like something more.
Like
than
I texted you today, I already got your first round pick in fantasy. I don't need you anymore.
Yeah, you picked me up. I'm done playing with you.
It's literally the scene in Toy Story 2. It's like, oh,
Exactly.
you're still broken. I don't want to play with you anymore. Rank the Toy Story movies. No. Anyways, I do want to get back to movies at some point, but I want to talk about my weekend because my weekend was hockey filled too. Actually, I went and saw the Trues Saturday, which wasn't really hockey. related, but they're Canadian, so it's a pass. Also, my mom came, and I don't think she knew what she was getting into. And there was one point where the band came, like the guitarist came off the stage and went upstairs into like the balcony at the Capitol Center and played up there. And then like they came down, and then the whole band came out into the crowd and like walked around and sang a song while they were doing it. I was like, this is pretty awesome. Anyways, moving on to Sunday. A huge thanks to Chris Dawson, by the way, for coordinating this. I got the opportunity to go and do some work for the Renfrew Wolves in the CCHL. It was awesome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it was great hockey. So I'll give you like kind of a rundown quickly on the weekend. Well, Kassie was already in Barrie buying shoes. I was risking my life on the highway because that's what we do in Northern Ontario.
Hey, I risked my life on the highway going to my last game in Barrie. When you couldn't see like 10 feet in front of you and there was like a coach bus beside us.
No, this is my podcast, not your podcast. No, I'm just
kidding. My bad.
But you're invited on.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyways, on a blistery Highway 17, the snow coming down, all I had was an ice cap in my car to keep me company. As I listened to podcasts on the way to Renfrew, which is a 3-hour drive, by the way. But it's a really boring 3-hour drive because it's like 2 lanes the whole way.
Yeah, it's just what you hop on the highway, you get past Corbeil, and it's just like, well, here we go.
Well, the rough part is Mattawa to Deep River because it's like an hour of nothing. But at least in Mattawa, you're like, well, I got Timmy's here, and then you get to Deep River, you're like, I'm ready for Timmy's again. I'm ready for some human interaction at this point because it's just been me and the road.
And the cows in the field.
On a lonely, lonesome highway east of Omaha.
So you made it to Renfrew.
Yeah, so so the deal was we went to go shoot a documentary for the Renfrew Wolves is what they wanted, basically. They wanted a promotional video to showcase the team, to showcase what they mean in the community, because they're a relatively new team. They've only been playing for 3-4 years since they made the move from Canada. And it just worked out because the part owner, head coach and GM Ryan Leonard used to be the same thing up in Cochrane.
Yep.
Which, by the way, we'll talk about the polar bear because I got some answers on the polar bear.
Oh, the long-awaited update.
Yes.
That's why you're here, folks. Yeah. The Cochrane update.
The crazy polar bear, which we'll get Ben to edit into the shot. But it's such a stupid bear. You're agreeing? Did we show you the bear?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. I was gonna say because
it's a rite of passage.
If you haven't seen the bear, it's like it is a trip, man. So I might as well tell you right now because I asked Ryan Leonard off the hop. Honestly, because Josh Hardiman wanted me to ask too. So I messaged Josh as soon as I got this. But I said, Ryan, what happened to that bear? He's like, honestly, I think it got thrown out in a dumpster somewhere. And then he's like, but I think the town found it and they use it for like their snowmobile races up there now, is what he told me.
That's awesome. As long as it's still being used, as long as the legacy of the Cochrane Crunch Bear lives on, it's a victory in some sense.
Lord knows they don't have a team to use it for anymore.
Which is a shame because, as we've heard, it's a wonderful facility.
It is. Renfrew would totally disagree, considering how wonderful their facility is. But
well, why don't you tell us about this facility?
Well, I'll get to that in a moment. This is going to be like a 25-minute long story. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, so we get to Renfrew. We're supposed to do some things. I didn't really have anything to do until the next day because that's when my job was coming in as interviews. Lindsay Saracen from Wolf Eye Productions was doing the heavy lifting, essentially getting shots and stuff. But the whole plan was they had a home and home with Pembroke, and Pembroke's a whole 45 minutes away.
Ooh,
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's a long road trip.
Oh, I know. Just like the Noge.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
So anyways, I get the opportunity to hop on Renfrew's bus. We go to the rink. We shoot them coming out onto the bus, and all the generic shots that you want of hockey players doing hockey things. I hop on the bus. I got to meet, and his name escapes me now, but I got to meet the radio play-by-play gentleman, and we were talking about longest road trips, and he said, our longest here in the CC is 2.5 hours to Cornwall. I'm like, oh, really? I said, the shortest in the Noge is an hour and a half, and the longest is 8 hours to Hearst.
Yep.
So that's how crazy the CC is. But anyways, we get to Pembroke. First off, anybody who's a self-respecting hockey fan needs to watch a game in Pembroke. It's an old barn, still got wooden bleachers, kind of thing.
Nice.
also, I know all the stories as a Leaf fan. Obviously, you know all the stories about Sheldon Keefe. But when you go in there and you see all the banners from basically 2008 to like 2011, when he coached there from like 2007 to like 2012, you're like, wow, he won a lot of championships in this league, including a national championship in 2011. And this is Pembroke, right? Like Pembroke's not a big town.
No.
Like, so good for them. That's awesome. They had 1,400 people came to the game.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
1,400 people watching Junior A. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, it was awesome. The hockey was great. I was surprised at the skill level in the season. Like, I mean, I shouldn't say I was surprised because I went in thinking it was still going to be good hockey, but I was kind of blown away by how good it was. And then they also sell Domino's pizza in the concession stand. So
big W.
Yeah,
big W.
Big dubs. However, it's cash only, which kind of sucked, but that's where you get a little bit. Anyways, we hop back on the bus. We go back to Renfrew, sleep overnight, and then we had to be back at the rink for 7:30 in the morning to set up because now we're doing interviews. And it's really cool because we got to interview the players on the ice. We had it all set up nice with the lights dimmed a little bit and everything in the arena. Talked to Ryan Leonard. Then we talked to a councilman who his name escapes me as well. A lot happened. And then we got the tour of the facility and get some video and stuff. So this facility, North Bay, take notes because of the whole situation happening right now that's been ongoing for this community center, which I'll go on the record now and say we need rinks, 100%.
So many.
Either fix up West Ferris and still do this. I don't care. You can't call it a community center where it's just hockey.
No.
It's not like that's not what it is.
Everyone knows what it is.
Yeah, it's a hockey rink. It's not a stop trying to be like, well, it's a community center because it's not.
It's a hockey rink.
And also the fact of the matter in this, we'll get. I'm going to get in trouble probably at some point. That happens sometimes on this podcast. To finally be like, oh, well, we're also putting dressing rooms down there for football by building it there. It's like you should have had fucking dressing rooms there in the first place. Pardon my French.
Explicit tag, but like there should be dressing rooms at the football field.
Yeah. It'd be like you roll up to a hockey rink, Kassie, and you have to like dress in your equipment before you leave home.
Ugh.
Could you imagine?
I would hate that.
I remember doing that as a Timbit, but that's like you're a Timbit. And when you're like that age, getting in the car is no big deal with all your equipment on. Because you're already there, you're like just the size of a normal person, anyways.
Yeah, your seatbelt actually fits.
Yeah, you can sit in the front seat finally.
Yeah, it puts you over that weight limit.
And I remember going to games, and all. The only thing I had to put on were my skates once I got to the rink, kind of thing. But to do it with football, like I've been on when I played football, my 1 year I played in high school, we would have to hop on the bus if we were playing Scholar or something. We'd hop on the school bus in full gear. And think about this, these kids trying to sit on a school bus with like shoulder pads and everything on, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not great. It is a school bus, so it's definitely not great. But now you got teams coming here from like the Sioux in full football outfits, like, no thanks. Anyways, so, excuse me. So they had the rink there. It was basically, your stereotypical hockey rink. But then they had this outdoor pad behind that they had basically decided to enclose and make it a full-on indoor rink. And they had a walking track over top of it. Then they had a gymnasium, and then they had a workout gym as well. Fantastic. It was awesome. Renfrew's tiny. There's not much going on in Renfrew. So for the community to really rally behind this and make this like a community center, and then also it was family day weekend, so they had like blow up inflatables outside for the kids to run through and horse-drawn carriage rides, and so it was just a whole vibe. And then you knew that the culmination was coming at 2:00 that day, as the Wolves were going to be hosting the Lumber Kings. So we got through all of our interviews with the players, got a tour of the dressing room, got to interview some of the players in the stalls and stuff, which was awesome. And then the game started, and it's a smaller rink. It only has stands on the one side, kind of like Powassan. There's probably 800, 900 people there.
Nice.
Like for this family day game, which they won. I only stayed for the first period because at this point I'm like, I have to drive home still. I don't know how Lindsay did it. He had to drive back to North Bay, then to the Sioux right after.
Oh my gosh.
So that's like a 9-hour drive. But anyways... so I only stayed for the first. They like blew out the Lumber Kings. It was like 8-6 or something like that. I mean, it was a close game technically, but like 8 goals is still I think it was 2-1 Renfrew when I left.
Yeah, I was keeping track of the score because I was like, "Oh, Kortney's at the game.
Yeah.
Let's see how it's going." And it was like, "Oh, this is a close one." I did not follow up with 8. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot of scoring.
It is a lot of scoring. And a lot of the, a lot of the players there were asking, were very interested in what we were there to do, and then a few of them were asking me, about how the Noge is, and asking about battalion players too, right, and all that stuff. So that was cool. But overall, it was just a great experience, and I can't thank Ryan Leonard and the Wolves organization enough for bringing us down and and putting us up and all that stuff. It was just a really fun weekend, really tiring, really busy. So I was happy to get home, and then I fell asleep in my chair playing a game later that night. But I was very overall a great weekend, and it was fun to get exposed to hockey I haven't really seen before.
Yeah, there's a lot of talented teams throughout the entire CJ and across Canada in general, which, well, I guess is the CJ. But Junior A hockey, if you have a Junior A hockey team in your town and you're found this podcast, A, thank you.
And you're still here. Thank you.
Very much thank you. But B, go check it out.
Yep.
Like, it's a good time. There's a lot of variance in it, yes. But you're going to see guys who are getting their best shot, giving it their all, and you're going to see some really fun plays. You're going to find a lot of people that are really passionate, that are really invested in their teams, invested in the kids playing, and are just there to be part of the community. So go check out your Junior A team. The closest one to me was I'm from the Lindsay area, the Lindsay Muskies, who are in a fight for the final playoff spot right now. Go Muskies. But that sounds bad saying that. But, hey, good on them having a team like that in a really nice rink. You're going to meet a lot of great people at your Junior A hockey team. So go out, watch your Junior A team. What's
one of the things that blew me away? I don't know if it's because, it's just in hockey circles generally, it's almost like an old boys club, right? Yeah. They talk about that a lot. I got to meet the commissioner because we have him and we interviewed him briefly about, what does it mean to have the league back in Renfrew and all this jazz. Because not many people know this, but they have a nice little museum in there because the NHA, which became the NHL, essentially started because of the Montreal Wanderers and a team in Renfrew, which is cool. So it was kind of neat to be like, at the birthplace. So it was like, what's it like to have hockey in here? And what, Pembroke calls themselves Hockey Town Canada. Renfrew is like the hockey roots Canada kind of thing. So it was neat. And we got to interview the commissioner. He's like 25 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the CCHL.
That's awesome.
Because so Ryan's like the most sociable guy, Ryan Leonard. Before the game, he was just like out talking to everyone. Like he wasn't like, if I'm a coach, I'm like in the coach's room watching video right up to the last minute. He comes up to us, he's like, "Oh, do you want the commissioner?" And we were like, "Absolutely." And he's got this guy beside him who's wearing, the CCHL jacket. And I'm just thinking, no, it's just some guy, right? Like not thinking it's him. So, okay, he just has to go to the locker room and then we'll bring him back. And then about 5 minutes later, he comes back, the same guy. And he's like, "Yeah, hey, I got to look up his name now because I've told Harrison's on it. He's the man. Anyways, and he came up and he did an interview, and I was just blown away because usually guys with gray hair that are in those type of positions or running leagues and all that stuff. And a lot of them do a great job, 100%. But I was just, wow, and he's in his first year as commissioner.
Sean Marcellus.
That is exactly who it is. That was his name, yep. But I was blown away. This guy's younger than me. And I'm like, what am I doing in my life? I'm not running a hockey league.
Interviewing him.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I'm really excited to see how the video comes out. Chris Dawson will be putting it all together under DawStar and all that stuff. But I'm really excited to see how it turns out because it should be a good one.
Yeah, and it sounds really exciting. You were sending all these photos of how awesome the barns looked and just the Keefe banners. And there's a lot of hockey history in a lot of these small towns around Canada, and it's super exciting going to each one because you get a bite-sized piece of history. It tells you a lot about the communities that are there and just like how excited people are to have hockey in those areas. And it's super cool that you got to be a part of that.
It was great just to kind of get a behind-the-scenes look at the last second. The Wolves also have like a little victory song that they yell in the dressing room after the game too, which is cool. Also, the Wolves have come in on a bit of a losing skid. I'm just saying they're 2-0 with us in the barn. Woo! Just saying. It's the only Wolves team I could cheer for.
So that does bring me to a question. What is the scarier wolf? The Sudbury Wolf or the Renfrew Wolf?
Like logo-wise?
Yeah.
Oh, the Renfrew Wolf.
The Renfrew Wolf is terrifying.
Yeah.
In a good way.
The big bad wolf.
It is a bad wolf.
Yeah. They also skate through. I feel like this is a staple of Ryan Leonard teams. They skate through an inflatable wolf head too, kind of like the Sudbury Wolves used to, but this one kind of looks strange because there's no jaw.
Oh no!
Like, just go check out my Instagram reel at some point because it pops up in the video, and yeah. But they only do the starting lineup.
Oh, okay.
So it's only the starting 6, so like the goalie and the other 5. The rest of the players come out of the regular tunnel. Also, I got to say their jerseys are really nice.
Yeah, that dark blue.
Yeah,
that's real nice.
Yeah, I like the road jerseys more. I'm not a white jersey fan, so it's just how it is. It's just how it's always been for me. But probably because I bled all over my white Blue Jays jersey at one point.
Yep.
But if you haven't listened to that episode, well, boy, let me tell you, disclaimer, it gets pretty gruesome. Yeah, we talk about feet, we talk about mouths, we talk about injuries.
At the end.
At the end.
But
that brings me to my next point, though. At the very end, we talked about ranking Lord of the Rings.
Oh, come on.
Ben's not in the room right now. But
Thank
Two
goodness.
Towers is number 1. Come on.
Okay. The way I've defended myself is I think that it has
Snapchat. Come on.
It has
Cassie.
I was answering my dad.
Okay, that's a good.
Your dad has Snapchat?
No.
Can't get your dad's Snapchat.
Whoa. What are you trying to do?
Say hi. He seems chill.
Now your mom's the MVP.
No,
that is true.
She's not. She's not the MVP.
Shout out Cassie's mom. She's hilarious.
If Ben was here, we'd go pew 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 pew.
Wrong one. Wrong one.
No.
Wrong one. That's worse.
That's why Harrison's not allowed to touch the soundboard.
Yeah, I'm 0 for 2. I am 0 for 2.
What other ones are on there?
Oh gosh.
There it is. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, there we go.
Well, we found it out.
I had a taste of power. It's too much. I'm happy here on the mic. This is my safe space. I'm comfortable here.
Anyways, you're defending Lord of the Rings before Cassie was going to give you your dad's Snapchat.
To bring it back to Star Wars, I think it kind of has Attack of the Clones syndrome.
Okay,
Where
that's fair.
it's really slow, but in your mind when you're thinking back on it, it's like, wow, that really exciting fight scene.
Yeah, wow, Helm's Deep is awesome.
Yeah, and then you forget about everything that happened before that. It's like, oh, it's just a bunch of walking around, right? That's why people don't like Lord of the Rings. And Ben brought that point up to me afterwards, and I was like, yeah, I may have erred there. But in fairness, I had only seen those movies probably back when I was like in grade 9.
So that's got to change.
So I need to watch through them again.
Yeah.
And the hard part is going to be finding the time because there's no way in hell I'm getting my girlfriend to watch any of the Lord of the Rings movies.
No, I managed it.
Yeah.
But we didn't watch the Hobbit ones, so we just watched Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's not going to happen for me. I tried Star Wars. She was asleep before they got off Tatooine. So
in episode 1?
4.
Or 4. Oh, so you started with 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
That may have been a mistake on my part. That may have been a mistake.
Yeah, because like episode 1 is like, even though it's like there's, episode 1 just has a lot of not good things happening in the movie. It's like, ooh, colors though, right?
Yeah. Now that's pod racing.
Yeah, let's try spinning. That's a good trick. That's Wizard Annie. And we could just keep going. But I did kind of bring it up, guys, because I feel like this is a safe one for Cassie to get involved in, because I feel like you've watched the Toy Story movies.
Yeah, a long time ago though.
Oh, so give me your base like ranking of them, if you can. No?
I honestly don't remember much of them.
What do you do for fun other than Snapchat and hockey?
Go to the gym, hang out with my friends.
Do you not watch movies?
I do, just not Toy Story.
What's the best movie you've ever watched?
Probably Fast and Furious.
The first one?
Any of them.
So rank the Fast and Furious.
There's too many of those.
We don't have time for that. We don't have time for that.
So you're failing this semester, just so you know.
Because you chose Fast and Furious.
Yeah. Fast and Furious.
Oh my god.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. Paul Walker's dead.
We're cutting that. That's gotta go. No, my god.
You like the way you reacted when I said that. Harrison's done. He's like, I can't do this anymore. You know what though? That movie that came out though, the one like after he like was like half filmed before he passed away.
Yeah.
When that came out, I was working at the movie theater, so that's like the only bit of Fast and Furious I've ever seen, which is now funny because it's turned into a meme, like the goodbye scene.
Oh yeah.
So that's like
see you again.
To this day, the only part of any Fast and Furious movie I've ever watched.
I think that's the one I served Stephen Harper at.
A little bit of backstory here. Harrison worked at a movie theater too down in the Kawarthas.
Yep.
And Stephen Harper apparently has a cottage nearby.
Yep. Everybody has a cottage nearby. Anybody with money who doesn't want to be in the city during the summer.
Yeah. Money.
Yeah. So that was a fun theater. That's gonna be a whole other like hour if I talk about that movie theater. So
anyway, Stephen Harper came in to see a movie.
Yep. He likes Diet Coke. That's very on brand.
Was there like a Secret Service there kind of thing?
Yeah. I found out Stephen Harper was there because I walked around. So where I had to get the candy from, I had to crawl under because I was too lazy to properly unlock the door and all that. So I crawled under it was like one of those flip up countertops, and I'm crawling out from underneath there like holding candy, and I look up and I see a pistol and I'm like, that's not normal. And then the guy looks down at me, he's like, can you get your boss? I'm like, yeah, I think I can do that for you, sir. And it was like, yeah, the Prime Minister's here. I was like, okay, cool. That makes a lot of sense. I am less scared now. Did you think
you guys were getting like held up at first?
I had no idea. I had no assumptions. I was like, that guy probably should have that, and I'm not going to question him. So I'll get my boss. Because I'm like 15 at the time, I think.
Yeah,
14 or 15.
There's no point in dying for a movie theater.
Yeah, not that one.
Burning bridges.
Burning bridges. I probably burnt bridges when I quit. But it is a very cool thing.
You also burned down the Bob Cajun bowling alley.
I didn't burn down Cajun Lanes. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Allegedly. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
You probably, like, it's wild to me to think, you know, now that we're not turning this political, but it's just wild to me with how long Justin Trudeau's been in power that you probably don't even really remember Stephen Harper as a prime minister, Cassie.
Nope.
Yeah. So, like, for context, Stephen Harper was the prime minister before Justin Trudeau. I'm sure you're aware.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's just wild to me that you got to...
Yeah.
So were you actually like face to face with Stephen Harper?
Yeah, I served him.
Oh, okay. So like legit.
Yeah, he ordered 2 large Diet Cokes and a medium popcorn they shared with his buddy, and he got extra butter.
I think it's just funny that you remember the exact like.
Yeah,
order.
It's not every day you serve the prime minister.
No, it's true.
The most amusing part to me was that he was seeing Fast and Furious, and yeah, that was it. We basically had everybody else clear out at that point, and then the prime minister came in. Served him his food.
How did you get people out of here? Like, how did you get like?
We didn't.
Get out?
We didn't. They did.
Oh.
They were just like, all right, move along, and
nothing
then
to see here.
He came in and then did it, and it was a pretty slow day anyway. It was like,
was there anyone else in the movie theater? Were they not allowed?
There
to
was
watch
like
the movie with them?
2 or 3 people, but it was a pretty slow day in like beginning of August, I think.
No, but like in that actual showing of Fast and Furious.
Yeah, no, there was like a couple people there. They didn't like completely isolate them. It was just like. That's so different from America and Canada, where it's like, we're in the middle of nowhere. It's the prime minister's here. He's watching Fast and Furious. But
well, to be fair, back then there wasn't as much like hatred going around about political figures in Canada at the time.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. We didn't have a big old virus yet. But anyway,
no, that's true. That's just still really cool. Like, regardless of which side of the fence you sit on, it would still be cool just to be like, I served the prime minister once. Like, you know, it'd be the same thing as if Justin Trudeau came into the railway tomorrow and I was like, I talked to Justin Trudeau. Like,
that's true.
my mom got to talk to the Queen once. So
what? Okay,
Yeah.
the Queen is on a different level than meeting the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is pretty cool.
Okay.
Meeting the Queen is cooler.
I will wrap up the show with this little story, even though I do want to get your Toy Story ranking. So what had happened was my mom, bless her heart, single mother, and really, doing anything and everything to get us by and what she could. I mean, my dad was around. Like, I'm not trying to make this into like, oh, Kortney's dad wasn't around, but like, to actually, raise a kid and have a job on the side kind of thing, and do all the stuff. So at the time she had lost her to a wonderful government cutback. She had, was in between jobs. She was working at the hospital in food and nutrition, and then she started at Canada or helping out with the food courses there. And what happened was somebody came back, and because it's unionized, she got bumped from the job, and now she had to go find another job. But because Mike Harris was premier at the time, the Queen was coming through Canada on a tour, or Ontario anyway. So Mike Harris, pulled some strings. I'm premier. I'm from North Bay. I'm going to bring her to my hometown. So they had this whole thing set up where it was going to be like the college students got to prepare the meal. And of course, their people were in there testing and everything and making sure there was no poison and all that jazz. But she was coming like a couple of weeks or a month after my mom last worked. So the college said, look, we're not heartless here. We'll bring you in if you want to come in for the day. The thing about it is my grandmother grew up like big time supporting the royal family. Like that was like, she remembered going to school with God Save the King, as the anthem, and God Save the Queen, when he passed away. So like my grandmother was always like huge onto the royals. So like my mom was like, can I get her in to like, sweep the floor or something? And they're like, no, sorry. So my mom had to go through all the security stuff. Honestly, I should just get her on the podcast to explain it. But there was so much security stuff, like background checks and everything. There was like snipers on the roofs. There were snipers in the pond, kind of thing. Like it was just everywhere. And my mom was in the kitchen, and they were giving her the tour and brought her through. And my mom said that she was so close when she came to her, that you could see like the little peach fuzz on her face kind of thing, like, and she stopped in front of my mom and went, oh, and did you partake in the preparation? And my mom's like, no, you're supposed to call her mom or whatever, right? So no mom or whatever, and then Prince Philip comes back a little ways because Prince Philip was still dawdling along talking to other people, but my mom got to share like 2 words with the Queen.
That's cool.
So again, I know there's a lot of people in the world that are like, the royal family, and all this stuff. I feel like if anyone's in that situation, they'd be like, oh my God, what do I do?
Yeah. Hello, Miss Queen lady. Hi. You have peach fuzz. No, I shouldn't have said that anyway.
All right. I'll see myself out.
Yeah.
So that's my mom's little brush with royalty.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. Right here in little North Bay.
North Bay, gateway to the north. You ever seen that ad?
Yeah, I'm done with you.
I love it.
You're done.
It's so good. That was one of the first things I saw when I moved up here. I was like, this is great.
This is
perfect.
You know what's great is if you go on YouTube. So this is like becoming like a Tourism North Bay podcast now. My mom's dad, who has a Walk of Fame on the North Bay Walk of Fame, just a little plug there. He used to help out with this thing called the North Bay Winter Fur Carnival, which happened in the 70s and all this stuff. They had this mascot called Duke the Toque. And he was like a paper mache head that someone just put on.
Nice.
And anyways, Bill Vraybosch, our former counselor here, his daughter's on city council, still Tanya, wrote a song called Duke the Toque Will Take You There. And you can find it on YouTube. And it's great. And I mean, it's great in the sense that it's like, like good. You were supporting North Bay, but it's like, it's great because it's funny too.
It's like cheesy, small town Canadian.
100%.
Like, awesome.
Yeah. And you can find it on YouTube still. But anyways, it's just a shame that we don't have something like that anymore. We just have Le Carnival to look forward to if you're into that kind of stuff. But yeah, there was like, my mom told me like there was like dog racing. There was, like monster truck mash. Well, not it was like cars mashup, kind of thing. Like, and then there was like the Queen of the festival and all that jazz. Like just really cool stuff. And she brought home, actually, she found in her my mom likes to keep like, she's not a hoarder. I will preface this by this. Her house is very clean. But she always holds on to historical things. And she really likes to document these things. She got that from her father for sure. Unfortunately, I never got to meet the man. But she had these old pamphlets from the Winterford Carnival back in the day. And like everybody was in on it. There was like ads from every little business in town. And it's just kind of neat to think of, North Bay really coming together for something like that, because you don't see that now.
No, it doesn't happen as often.
No.
Which is a shame.
Yes, it
and I feel like that happens with a lot of small towns, unfortunately, lately.
Yep. That's probably a good assessment. So next week we'll get Harrison's assessment on Toy Story. So you have a week to really think about that.
2, 1, 3, haven't seen 4.
That was quick.
I had time. You brought up the question. 2, 1, 3, haven't seen 4.
Okay, so
friggin' spork.
It's good.
It's good?
It's okay, so you're nodding along. You just
I remember that one because that one's the newest. And I watched that long, but not too long ago, where the other ones are like the back of my mind.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll binge them this weekend. How about that?
There, do that. I'm breaking stuff. Do that, and then we'll ask you your opinion.
Okay.
Because they're only an hour and a half long each.
Yeah, they're not that bad.
And there's not a bad movie in the bunch, which is not something you can say about a lot of series. But I see that they want to make a 5th one now, and like Tim Allen's like, what if we made it so that way? And he's like got a kid and he's looking for his toys, kind of thing, to bring him back and all that stuff. So I'd be like,
I hate that I agree with Tim Allen about like, something. Anyway,
it's just like, because when so 3 ends in such a way that it should just end the whole series.
Yeah, that would have been fine.
And then 4, I was like, come on, like now we're just milking it. But then 4 ends in a way that's even better way to end the series. So now it's like, now they have this idea for 5. I'm like, oh, okay, fine, like sure. But Toy Story, the first one, is the first movie I remember seeing in theaters as a kid. If I had to rank them, I would go 2, 1, 3, 4. But
yeah,
that being said, 4 is amazing, 3 is amazing, 1 is amazing, 2 is amazing. The reason why I love 2, everyone says that's like the weakest one of the group. Usually when you see people online, I still remember going, it was around Christmas time that it came out. I still remember our old McDonald's, North Bay Surgeon Falls McDonald's. I still remember going to McDonald's with my mom and getting like the Happy Meal or whatever. And it was like Toy Story themed. And then we went to the movie and it was just a great experience. Also, when I first met my stepdad, my mom brought, this is what we're going to do. We're going to watch Toy Story as a good bonding moment, right? The first one started, he's on one end of the couch, I'm on the other. By the end of the second one, I was curled up right next to him. So
that's nice.
Yeah, the 2 is really good. But I also, the best thing about these movies is when you go back as an adult now, with the adult like humor in there that like you don't realize when you're a kid.
Oh, Pixar was so good for that.
Yeah, but I laugh every time when it's Al from Al's Toy Barn being like, I can't believe I have to go to work all the way to work on a Saturday just across the road. That makes me laugh every time. Anyways, now that we are sufficiently way over time and over budget because of all the sound effects that have been played between Harrison, you gotta like hit it a couple times.
Oh my god.
Okay. Cassie, your ears bleeding yet?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
That's what we call karma for getting into a pushing match on the weekend. Just kidding.
She deserved it.
I'm just really excited that you were so excited to text me. You're like right away. She's like, hey, what's the schedule this week? By the way, I got 5 minutes for fighting.
Because I told you I was gonna, because you were like making fun of my penalty minutes. So then
I love it though.
I was
Good
like,
for you.
if I get a goal or if I get penalty minutes, I'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
And I got penalty minutes. So.
I love it. It's great. I'm here for it. So, anyways, yeah, I'm excited for more. Get some more rough stuff going on out there. How many games do you got left?
I don't know. I know I got 2 coming up, and then I got playoffs. So.
Oh, so there is an unknown number.
That's enough to get suspended for 5 games.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it's gonna happen. With my luck, I'm sure it's gonna happen.
Let's go, angry Cassie. Anyways, We'll wrap things up here. Huge thanks to Peter Goulet for coming in once again to join us on the podcast this week. He's Harrison. She's Cassie. Check us out on all the streaming services. Check out the After Action Report. We don't have one this week, and we don't have a broadcast either. Oh my God, vacation. We'll have the Powassan Voodoos next Wednesday. Looking forward to that one as they come back home. And we're starting to get into the playoff push. Let's go. So pretty excited about that. Again, check us out on all streaming platforms that you can. Check us out on YouTube as well. And I'm sure Harrison will have a great clip from this episode up like he usually does, just to remind you that we do have episodes out. So it's always a good time. That being said, I'm Kortney Kenny, and please keep your eye on the Frontline.
The Frontline, hosted by Kortney Kenny, the official podcast of the Powassan Voodoos.